Yeah, I see that.
Hi, Susanna.
Hi, Susanna. You're a little bit early. Thank you for coming by.
Welcome, everyone.
Always glad to have you.
Come by to see us. We got 3 here. 4 thumbs up.
Wow. People
Somebody
waiting
stuck
for
a
us.
thumb up and then left.
Some people waiting for us.
Right.
That's cool.
That is nice. Now we got 4 people and 4 thumbs up. Come on in, punch the thumbs up, and let us know who you are. Say hello.
You know, I still need to work on that. Get a big cork board and get a big map on it.
Yes, I know.
And start using our push pins to tell where our pimples are.
That would be nice.
I need to do that. The thing is, I got to get a really big map.
Like a classroom size map. Hi, Dale.
Hey,
Good
Dale.
to see you.
How you doing?
Yeah, you haven't been around on the live much. I figured you were probably working or sleeping, one or the other.
It's good to see you.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Diamond, yeah, we can't see you. We can see
We
your
said
voice.
hi to you when we first signed on. I guess you didn't hear us.
And Jeffrey, welcome. Good old Joplin, Missouri.
Been recovering from gallbladder
Oh, my.
surgery. Oh, that's not fun.
That's
Hi, Joe
usually-
Morgan.
That's
Morning.
usually pretty serious stuff, gallbladder.
Yeah. Any surgery is serious if it's on you. You know how they make the difference between a serious and a minor surgery,
Yeah,
don't
you
you?
survive.
No, it's a minor surgery if it's on you. It's a serious surgery if it's on me.
Okay, yeah, I'll buy that. I've had several serious surgeries, and haven't I?
Yeah, you have from your point of view.
Yep. Well, Claude, hi there.
Hello, Claude. Nice to see you.
Yeah, I imagine the weather in Chicago is pretty crappy right now.
Probably not time to garden where you are.
Oh,
You don't go as
6 hours in surgery. Oh, my
My
God.
word. What did they take out other than your gallbladder?
Well, Dale, congratulations on surviving.
Yeah, really.
That's a long time to be under the knife.
They did my gallbladder laparoscopically. Isn't that the word?
Yeah.
And I had one little tiny incision, and that was it. I thought it was going to have all kinds of problems, and so far I've had none.
Well, obviously it didn't go that way for Dale.
Right. Well, it's gorgeous outside today. Right now it's probably in the mid 60s.
Right. I happened to look at the thermometer when I came in. It was 64, so it's probably a couple more by now because that was about an hour ago.
Okay.
So it's probably maybe even crowding 70 out there. A little bit of a breeze, clear sky, really nice.
I know that day before yesterday it was 80.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was about 75.
A couple of days before that, the high was 52.
Yeah.
So,
And I've been
but it's Texas.
I was told this morning that we're going to start having cold weather again. Just the gallbladder, but it was apparently petrified.
Oh my.
They did yours laparoscopically as well. It just took a while.
Petrified.
Sorry it took so long and was such a pain.
That's,
Anyway, I was told earlier today by a friend of mine that we're supposed to be getting some freezes later this week again, which disappoints me because
Well,
I
you
have
ready?
plants I need to get in the soil and get out in the sunshine. I'll probably put them in pots that I can move in and
do you
out of the
think your
garage.
new greenhouse will protect them sufficiently, or are you going to have
Oh, in the greenhouse, they'll be fine. I don't have to worry about it. I'm talking about the big pots that are too big to put in the greenhouse.
to? Oh, okay.
'Cause I have several tomato plants that already need to go into soil, and I have those basil plants.
You may
I was
need
showing you
to
about.
tap David on the shoulder, get him to help you.
Yeah, I probably will.
That's our brother-in-law Ron lives right up in front of us, and in order to help, well, actually now Ron owns the house.
No, David owns the house.
David owns the house. Pardon me. So now, but they're housemates, and David helps us quite a bit. He's a very giving kind of a guy. Ron is too, but like me, he's got COPD pretty bad,
Right.
so he's not really capable of doing a lot.
And David's still in very good shape,
David's in pretty good shape, and
but he's just in his 50s, so.
well, yeah, he's just a punk kid.
Mm-hmm.
But he helps Kate quite a bit around here and does some odd jobs for us. It's so hard to find somebody to
Minus
come in and
40
do
where
work.
Susanna is. Is that minus 40 centigrade or Fahrenheit, Susanna?
Well, let's hope it's Fahrenheit. Wow, that's cold.
She's in Canada. It could be either.
Woke up to 4 degrees in Kansas City.
Brr. Really
Yeah, I'll
missing
bet.
Louisiana. I bet you
I'll
are.
bet, yeah.
Hi, Eric. Good to see you.
Hello, Eric.
I'll be
Yeah.
right back. I want to get something to show them.
Okay.
I hope it'll show on camera.
You're going to leave me here alone with all these people?
Yes, I am.
Oh, my. What shall we do? I guess I could tell a story. I don't have any good stories to tell right now. Well, let's see. What's going on? Yeah, I did, Eric. Thanks for asking. It was very quiet. You know, when you're 74 years old, your birthdays really don't ring all that many bells anymore. You know, when you're 8 or 10 or 20 or even 50, it's kind of nice. But 74 is just kind of one of those inner birthdays. Now, 75, I may celebrate that one. You know, that'd be my diamond birthday. Okay, you got the floor.
This is a basil,
You're right, Diamond.
a group of basil that
Good. I don't have COVID. I
I
smelled
bought
it.
some fresh basil at the grocery store. And one of my favorite online chefs is Rachel Ray. And she says when you have fresh herbs, you should put them in water, cover them with a sandwich bag of some sort because it makes its own little greenhouse and keep them on your counter, which I did. And I was very surprised this morning. I went to check and see if I needed to change the water. I'm not sure you'll be able to see this, but down in the bottom of
Yeah,
that
you can see them.
jar,
They sprouted.
the basil is rooted. So I am going to take it as my first gardening project and put it in soil, and I'll have my first basil plants for this summer. And that was just from some I bought because I needed some to make some spaghetti the other day.
I love the smell.
Hi,
of basil.
Allie.
I love the smell of basil.
Me too. Are you going to see the birds today? Probably not, Susanna.
As long as they're being quiet
We like to
during,
leave them there.
during this time, we tend to kind of leave them be.
It's 34 in Joplin. Oh, burr.
Bravo's over there tearing into his toy.
It's only made it to 6 and it's snowing again. Oh, Dale, I'm sorry.
Hello, Bravo. I see you over there. Hello, Bravo. Every day when I come out of the bedroom,
Thank you. I appreciate that, Allie.
I drive ride right by 2 of the cages. So Bravo and Kareem can see me whenever I come in this way. And I always stop and say hello to him. And Bravo, wherever he happens to be, get on one of his perches and he waves a foot at me every day. So that's he's giving me a high 4. So that's kind of interesting. I come in and say, good morning, Bravo. Good morning, Kareem. And, but he does it every day.
Mm-hmm. He really does.
Yep.
So
Oh, a
Joe,
big
your
pot
dad
of
is
gumbo.
still
All
tucking
right.
up from
Yeah.
yesterday, huh? I saw that, Susanna. Thank you. You put on a big pot of gumbo, huh, Dale? I've got 24
Yeah, I did, Diamond.
pints
Oh,
of
and-
gumbo
and,
in the pantry. I'm sorry?
Minus 40 is the same whether it's Fahrenheit or
That's
centigrade.
what she said. Twice even.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got two cases of gumbo in our pantry, and I've got some shrimp in the freezer that I can put in it. And that's going to be yummy.
Yep. I'm looking forward to that. That was part of the reciprocal trade agreement when Kate went over to Louisiana. She taught them how to can chickens, and they taught her how to make roux and gumbo.
Claude, I moved my greenhouse trays to my garage. Ice went through the roof of the greenhouse the night before. I went over
Ooh.
to the hardware store, but they didn't have any hard plastic sheets. Oh, I'm sorry you had to move them all into the garage, but that might be a safer place for them if the weather's really, really cold. I've
And
set
that's
my
quite
greenhouse
a bit
up.
of ice.
I set my greenhouse up under our carport cover. So I wanted to be sure that I wouldn't have any problem with too much rain or anything like that pounding on it. So I put it where it had a cover over it. And it gets light on 3 sides, reflected light, and keeps everything looking beautiful in there.
That was one of the things that David helped with.
Mm-hmm. help me. What I did was I set up both greenhouses, and then I built a wood and plastic structure around them. So we have the two greenhouses at each end of the structure facing into the center, and then I have big pots in the center and all my little things on the greenhouse. You had yours in your backyard. You're thinking of moving it. Well, I set mine up that way, Claude, because I wanted to be sure. We have a lot of what's called straight line winds in our area, and the greenhouses I have were the inexpensive ones that we got from Tractor Supply, and they're lightweight plastic. They just snap together, and they have a medium weight plastic cover that goes over it. But when those winds come along, it'll pick it up and sail it 3 or 4 miles
It's like a
away.
parachute.
So I put it under cover where it would not get blown so hard.
And we got that carport comes in handy for a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, it does.
we don't need it until we get our RV.
And if we ever get an RV.
Yeah.
And the
Actually,
other
that's a story.
The other thing I want to do is I want to make an outdoor kitchen in it. So what I may do is take the plastic sides off the structure that has a greenhouse in it and make some countertop space in there and use it as an outdoor kitchen when it's not being a greenhouse. Because I would cook outside in the summer when everything is outside of the greenhouse. Maybe I can make the counters so that they fold down. That way I can put the greenhouses back in during winter.
Well, we got some marble out there. We can definitely give you some marble countertops.
Yeah, we sure could.
Big sheets of marble. 1,000-pounders. So,
Very familiar with Joplin Tractor. Yeah. He and Jeff are talking. Dan and Jeff
Yeah.
are talking. Now, I
Um,
would like to use that marble for the
I
outdoor
would
kitchen.
too. Do
Or
something with it.
when we expand the kitchen into the breakfast nook, use it there.
What she's talking about there is we have an application into the VA for home modifications. Now, there's two kinds. There's one that is a grant. These are both grants, by the way. One of them is about $18,000. And I applied for that one quite some time ago. And it was approved, but it never got down to us that we could actually go and commit the money or contract with anybody to get the work done. And then Melvin Jackson, who's the VA rep that I deal with, recommended that we apply with my decline in health for a larger grant for $90,000 that really does allow you to make a lot of changes.
The things that we need done.
A lot of ADA compatibility, a lot more handicapped accessible. So I did that. Now that took a lot more paperwork,
Yeah.
and I put that thing in probably 3 months ago, and I haven't heard jack on it. And finally, I've talked to him several times, but about a week ago, I talked to Melvin, and even he is surprised at how long this has taken. So he's supposedly following up on it. And if that gets approved, then we've got a good sized chunk of change that we could put into this house. And with that, some of the things that we'll do is obviously we'll put a door out the back of the bird room onto a deck that then has a ramp that goes down to our backyard. Because right now, we only have one entry exit point, which in my situation, the VA considers to be kind of dangerous since I'm in a wheelchair. The other thing is the master bathroom, and that would be just a complete redesign. There is room in there for like a roll-in shower and a few other things where they could go in there and widen the doorways and things of that sort.
And
Then in our kitchen, we hope, number one, we want to switch over to gas. So that means getting a tank of propane out back and getting all the lines laid and all that. But right next to the kitchen, we have a large breakfast room. We want to take and expand that kitchen so that it also goes into the breakfast room so that we've got, counters and cabinets pretty much all the way around where we can, where there's a lot of windows in there too.
Right.
but, and put in, like another sink. Perhaps that's where we hope to put the gas stovetop and still have a regular oven and stuff over in the kitchen, but have a gas oven and gas stovetop over on the side where the breakfast room is.
I think we're going to have to do some more talking about the
Why?
kitchen
Isn't
redone.
that what you wanted?
No, not at all.
What did you? I thought that was what you wanted.
I did not want another sink, first of all. I mean, I did not want an additional sink. I want a larger sink. I don't want,
You don't want a sink over in there?
no, not at all. That's all going to be counter space where I can plug in small appliances and that sort of thing, storage underneath, and cookbooks above.
I kind of figured you'd want like at least one deep sink for doing like your.
I do.
You know,
I want
your
to
big
put. I want
pots
to put the little shallow sink we have now. I want to get rid of that and put one of those big farmhouse sinks in.
Oh, okay, well. But anyway, we also want to tear out almost all the carpeting, and depending on what's underneath, put down some sort of flooring that solid flooring. Let's see what else. Actually, in the kitchen, I'd like to have the flash heaters for the water, because right now, when you go in there and if it's just you walk in, turn on hot water in the kitchen, it takes what, 4, maybe 5 minutes? Really?
At least 4, probably.
At least 4 minutes
Sometimes closer to 6
before
depending on how
before
cold
you
it
get
is.
hot water, and that's very, very wasteful, because you want hot water, you don't want cold. So anyway, that's one. All new appliances, of course. We got a new stove in there, but a new refrigerator. Modify the sink, obviously. A good dishwasher. Now, all of these are going to be designed to be handicapped accessible.
Right.
So, and I know a bit about that. I was actually I'm an ADA pro. For 3 years, I worked for the Governor's Commission on Disabilities in Florida, and one of the things that we had to do was be ADA certified. So I've gone through quite a bit of education about what the Americans with Disabilities Act does, although it really does nothing. But the biggest thing you learn is about handicapped accessibility, what kind of things you can expect, what standards are, for example, the gradient for a ramp and that kind of stuff. But hopefully we'll burn through 90 grand in a hurry.
Unfortunately.
And Kate came up with a great idea the other day. While all this is going on and the house is in chaos, we're thinking, and I was looking last night at like renting a camp trailer or an RV and just parking it more or less over in the carport. And if we could do that, then we could get 2 bird cages out there, because Bravo and Carib will live together, and then another one for Gandy. And then, dog and cat and us. But all we need is just a place to stay where we can just kind of go on with our daily lives while they're in here ripping stuff out and rebuilding. Plus, we can stay close to it so we can monitor what's going on.
So we can be there every
So
day to
I'm
see
not
who
gonna-
comes and goes and what's going on and
Yep.
how well they're doing. Because I've been through remodeling before, and in some cases, not all, but in some cases, if you're not there
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna have some-
overseeing, it doesn't get done right.
I'm going to have some conditions on these guys, because, they'll come in and do 2 days of work and then they're gone for a week. That ain't going to happen, because I'm going to have it right up front in the contract. You work on this start to finish. Any day you don't show up, it costs you. Any day
Hi,
that,
Ruth.
that they don't come in and do something substantive, there will be a monetary cost for that little foobar, because I'm not going to put up with being jacked around. Once they start on this, I want it done, and I want it done as quickly as possible, because I do not want that chaos in my life, our lives. Okay, I got
Hi,
way
Ellie.
behind.
Thank you for dropping in, even if it is just for a minute. And Ruth, I have lived through remodeling of several homes, not just my own, but of some of my dear friends as well. And I've done the remodeling myself, and I've had it done by other people. And If you're not there and you're not supervising and you're not checking everything every day, it does not get done right. People tend to cut
They
corners
will. They'll
in
jack
places
you
where you
around.
can't see that they're being cut, and it's a real problem. Now, as far as our hot water, we have a brand new, well, had a brand new hot water heater. It had trouble 2 times. They had to come in last time and replace all the elements inside because it was less than 2 years old and they quit working all of a sudden. So we have the equivalent of a brand new hot water heater.
Still under
Still.
warning. And Dale, yes, you're right. It will be in the contract so that there is a schedule. And if they don't meet that schedule, then there's going to be substantial monetary reductions. I'll put it that way.
Claude,
Yep.
the main reason why I want a large sink, whether it has 2 or 1 compartment, really doesn't matter to me, is because I have the large All-American canner, the pressure canner, and it's so large that I cannot put it in my current sink to clean it. I have to lay it on its side and splash water up in there, clean it real good, and splash water in and out again. And it gets water everywhere. It doesn't really do a good job of cleaning it. I need someplace where I can set it down inside, put hot water in it, and clean it right.
Well, would you like to know what I want?
Yes.
Obviously, you know, I have a background in food inspection, sanitation, and I was a health inspector. But like one of these guys that comes out and gives your restaurant an A or a B or whatever. That's the kind of work that I did in the military for a lot of years. I went around and inspected the commissaries, the NCO club, the officers club, any place that served food, stored food, sold food. So obviously I've got a background in food service sanitation. I would like to have a 3-compartment sink. Are you familiar with those?
I'm sorry.
I'd like to have a 3-compartment sink
Oh, you want to wash, a rinse, and a
sanitizing
sanitize.
rinse. Yep.
Well, how about my big farmer sink with 3 tubs inside it?
Well, it'd be a little bigger than that, but what you would have, you obviously all of them would be deep, but you'd have, one that is kind of it's where you would wash, and then another one where you could just do
Drop it in
your
and rinse it.
rinsing, and then your other one would be, either maybe like a produce sink, because you could have, several options on that one, or you could set it up as a sanitizing sink where you just put a little Clorox in the water
And do everything except my filter.
or you can, the other option is on that one, we've got a bigger flash heater where we can run the water up to 180 to use temperature to sanitize the dishes. But anyway, I'd like to have a 3-compartment sink. And I would also like to have some kind of a produce sink or something over in the,
Outdoor kitchen.
over in the breakfast area, because if you want an island and all that, and you got a stove over there, well, you're going to be doing some food prep in that area. So what you need over there then is, if nothing else, is a sink where you can at least, rinse off a head of lettuce, something like that. I'm not talking big 3-compartment over there. I'm just talking maybe a small, almost kind of like what we got there in the kitchen now, but like a 2-compartment sink, or one that's bigger, but just a single compartment. But I'd like to see us have a sink over in there too.
We'll
Why are you?
have to talk
We'll
about
have to discuss it, which means she'll win. It will be done Kate's way,
I only
regardless.
I only say we'll have to talk about it because I'm the one that does most of the work
Exactly.
in the kitchen, and I know what I would like to have in there.
Well,
And I've already contracted with David to build all the shelving in there. He's already drawn the drawings up, and he's getting copies for.
Aren't you planning on having an island for
No.
where the stove and all that stuff's
No,
going to be?
I do not want any of that.
Well, boy, you've definitely changed your story from the last time we talked about
No, I
this.
think you didn't understand what I was saying.
Well, you were talking about an island over there and
We can
and
bring the
storage under-
island down and
storage
that's
underneath. And,
under the shelf, yeah.
Well, never mind. We'll work it out. Like I said, it'll be done her way.
Countertop.
It's her
I haven't-
kitchen. She can do it her way. Yes, dear.
Claude, as far as countertops, we have not even gotten that far yet.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't know what. I know I want a large, what they call farmhouse sink. It's almost double the size. Well, it's a little over, about 2.5 times the size of a double sink. and it's very deep, and it has an edge that comes over so that if you're sitting down, you can reach in without problem. Um, as far as the countertops, we have all of that granite out there that we could use. I don't know whether we would or not. Celtic, as far as I'm concerned, a dishwasher is a waste of money. I have never had a dishwasher that I was comfortable using.
I'll get you a Hobart dishwasher and it'll be good.
That may be, but
Trust
I've
me.
never had one that
Trust me.
actually cleaned the dishes. You have
I
to
will
clean
get
the
you-
dishes before you put it in. When you take them out, they're all covered with spots and dirt, and you have to wash them again before you put them away.
I will get you a high quality Hobart dishwasher that will work for you. I
Okay.
promise.
Okay. We'll have to go see one.
Yep. Well,
They
they're around,
actually
believe
make
me.
those farmhouse sinks that will directly replace a standard double sink, but it's deeper. Yeah, I know that, Dale, but what I want is one that's both deeper and a half again as long. I would like to have the equivalent space of a 3 sink, like he was talking about, the dishwasher setup where
The
you
only
wash,
thing I want to
rinse,
point
and
out is if you got
sanitize.
one big sink like that,
Mhm.
it's going to take you 20 gallons to fill it, where you need, sometimes you only need a 5-gallon sink. So you need a small sink and then a big sink.
Or a big sink and tubs in it.
Well, then you're just creating another sink. I mean, one way or another, but
I want my big farmhouse sink so I can clean my stock pots and my cook and my canners.
I fully endorse that. But, it's also a good idea to have a
You were the dishwasher.
relatively small sink that you can just do your normal everyday size chores in, but darling, we're still a long ways from doing it.
Yes, we are.
We may end up arm wrestling over this. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We may end up moving the kitchen outside and building a whole kitchen building.
Yeah, then we could really be, kind of like the old South.
My very first idea when we were talking about getting houses was to have a kitchen that was 20 feet long and 20 feet wide that was attached to the side of the house. And I would have a station for all of my canning supplies and canning stuff. Hi, Josh. I would have another whole station for butchering and prepping food that came in bulk.
Kind of a game kitchen.
Yeah, okay. Another whole section for just day-to-day work, like preparing meals and that kind of thing.
When I originally designed Fort Howdy, remember when we were still back in Florida? My original concept for where we live now consisted of
Thank you, Josh. We are well.
11 containers. And these are the sea vans, the big ones.
The big shipping containers.
And it was in a shape of a horseshoe or a U, whatever you want to call it. And one whole
Hey, Heritage.
segment, one whole van
From
was going to be
okay.
a game kitchen and walk-in freezers, walk-in refrigerator. My original intent was that we would be able to have a population living here of between 20 and 30 people who were, obviously friends and family members. And I was going to have a skill list. This is when I was trying to be a survivalist. You come out here if you can do stuff, whatever skills you got. Happy wife, yeah. You're right, Dale. You're preaching to the choir here, partner. Anything
You
I can,
really are. He's so good to
anything
me.
I can do to keep this lady happy, I will do it. Yes, I will. Amy, hi there. I didn't see you come in. Hello, hello.
Dropped in for a second.
You're over at your parents for lunch? Oh, gumbo Sunday. Well, thanks for coming by, Amy. Please give your parents our best too. So, yeah, I am doing well. Amy, I'm doing quite a bit better. For those of you who may not know, I spent 10 days in the hospital, middle of January, about the 13th to the 23rd, somewhere around there. Since I've been home, some minor changes in my medications. My original problem was heart rhythm, and the cardiologist said they were going to have to do some kind of a shocking thing, not the ablation that they did the first time last year, but do a shocking thing to kind of restore my heart rhythm and rate. Well, it healed itself. When I went in last Friday, they did 2 EKGs on me, And my heart has returned to a normal rhythm, and they're not going to have to do the shocky thing, which I'm glad. So, like I said, my old peasant stock and my tough constitution pulled me through again.
You're right, Ruth. 20 by 30 sounds wonderful until you actually move things in there, and then it's just not big enough.
Yeah, anytime you build stuff like that, it's never big enough. But this thing with 11 C vans, I had pretty much, there was going to be I guess you'd call it a patio in the middle. It was going to be like 40 feet wide and about 40 or 60 feet deep. And that was being like the common area where we also had gardening, but we'd have, a big fire pit where everybody could get together. But, one of the vans was a game room. It was going to have, like pool table and ping pong and, foosball and all that kind of stuff for kids. But, I had great ideas. Somewhere the drawings are still around here. But I did a major design on what I wanted. But then I was also looking at having 10 acres of land here in Texas, but we ended up with 2. So, and a 3,000 square foot house that was already here.
Yeah.
So that kind of took care of that.
Love you too, Amy. Take care. Enjoy gumbo.
So we're in good shape.
Hi, Lisa.
We're in good shape either way.
We're doing very well, Lisa.
Yep, doing real good.
And I could not have taken care of a place as big as he wanted. I couldn't have done it.
Well, thing is, on my original plan, there'd have been 20 people living here, but that's also, I've since rethought that. I don't think I could live with 20 people. So, hey, Celtic, how you doing there, partner? Well, all planned, new house, maybe if we get this grant from the VA, it'll definitely be like a new house. I'm hoping I've got everything laid out to go back through and get my original paperwork together and stuff, and I'm going to start hammering on the VA to get her done.
Take care, Heritage Heart. It was wonderful to see you.
I'm tired of waiting. Let's get on with it before I croak. That's what they're waiting for. The VA, well, let's wait till he dies, and then we won't have to do it.
Right. Well, granted, we just won't give it to him.
Yeah. So I'm tired of them dragging their feet. Let's get with it. So, and if we do get it, wow. I'll have to take a lot of pictures and document how it goes and all that sort of stuff, and do some YouTube documentation on how to spend almost $100,000.
It's easy. You buy a place like this.
Yeah, it'll be real easy. Real easy. Well, just think though. I mean, if we do get all the stuff done that we want, it's going to double the asking price on this house.
At least.
Maybe, I mean, it would make it
more.
Make it a $250,000 to $300,000 outfit. That's because it would be ideal for persons with disabilities. And that's my goal. I want it to be ADA compatible, handicapped accessible, and good quality construction, and going to stand for a while, long after I'm gone.
Maybe we can turn the garage into a kitchen. Just make that whole thing into a kitchen instead.
Sure.
It's a 3-car garage, folks.
Whatever you want, darling.
I wouldn't want a 3-car garage. I mean, I'd love to have a kitchen that big, but I'd have to carry everything up the ramp in order to get in the house.
Well, I mean, we could change, but I mean, I do see some uses for that garage. But right now, I mean, it's not even. It got a little bit of insulation in there.
Hang on a second.
What?
Celtic, what are they going to do for you?
Depression and PTSD.
Yeah.
Well, that hopefully,
Hello,
Celtic,
Sean.
that will give you
you.
a decent percentage of disability.
Mm-hmm.
I know PTSD can get you a fairly high rating. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah.
Me, I'm 180% disabled now, by the way. They gave me 100% on my COPD and my lungs and stuff. And then they looked at my back and lower limbs and basically gave me another 80%. So unfortunately, I can't get more than 100, but come to find out, you talk about terms of disability. Well, I got that beat, by God. I'm 180% disabled. Beat that.
And I'm only 100% disabled according to the federal government. But so far, that hasn't stopped me from doing what I want to do.
Coffee's good today. I don't know if it's.
Thank you. I'm glad you
Was
enjoyed
it fresh? Did you make a fresh
Yes.
one? Okay.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Uh,
Been on disability
okay,
since
let's see.
1992. Maybe it'll up it some.
Yeah, I had 20% disability for years, which came to like, I don't know, a couple $100 a month. But then whenever they gave me 100%, boy, that definitely changed life for us. Definitely changed life for us.
Good.
Yep. Yeah, Lisa, I agree with you. The VA will just jack you around 9 ways to Sunday. Dog coming in the door. Joe, I'm sorry. Was that directed to us or
No,
to
it was-
somebody else?
It was to Sean at North
Okay,
Shore.
all right.
North Shore. Lisa, we still got you on the prayer list, and I just
Yep.
made a note to put you on this week's prayer list as well.
Anybody else? I mean, obviously, put down Celtic for his disability
Yeah.
too. And 21 degrees there where North Shore is. I guess we're pretty lucky. I mean, granted, now come summertime, and we're talking about it being, 90% humidity and close to 100 degrees in temperature, then y'all will be lording it over us. But right now, we're in pretty good shape. It's probably starting to push. It's gorgeous out there. It's probably starting to push 70.
I went out earlier this week and trimmed both of my peach trees and both of my pomegranate trees, so I'm ready for this.
So now I can actually use the ramp out there to go out in the yard.
And
The tree had literally grown across the ramp.
And I also looked at my Meyer lemon this morning that I thought had died. It's
No?
blossoming out like crazy. There are little tiny baby leaves all over it
Where's that one? Where's
on
that?
the in the front window.
Oh, in here.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was dead, and I thought I had lost all but one branch of it, and it's all coming back.
Yeah, the question for today was whether or not it's time to start gardening. From the way it sounds for you guys, no, not yet.
And I had started getting ready to actually put things in soil.
Mine is 15 there for Ruth.
Ooh, burn. And Sean says it's been very, very warm where they are, not hardly any snow on the ground. He's up in Canada, so you would think he would be getting some snow. And Susanna's up in Canada too, but I haven't heard any more out of her since she got here. She must have had to go.
I've been watching, as I usually do, a lot of wildlife shows, David Attenborough, and, a lot of the worldwide things about critters and animals. We've screwed up pretty bad, folks. There's now mounting evidence that we have reached the tipping point. That we are not going to be able to stop climate change from doing some serious, serious damage. No matter what we do. I mean, even if we were to just turn off carbon production right now, today, and stop it entirely, it's still too late.
Wow.
So we done screwed up, folks. We've taken Mother Earth and augured her right in. So now it's, by the end of the century, see, this would be a completely different world. For example, Florida might end up being
Underwater.
cut in half and largely underwater. It'll be.
Because when the old ice melts, the water levels are going to go up everywhere.
That's true. Not as much as you might think. I mean, ice floats, but when it melts in the water, it does expand. It's bigger. It's one of the few things, the ice is bigger. But still in all, whenever you've got an ice floe the size of Rhode Island floating around and melting in the ocean, it is ultimately going to raise the sea levels. But what they're really worried about is the glaciers.
Mm-hmm.
Virtually, virtually all of the glaciers in the entire world are melting at unprecedented rates.
Yep.
And a lot of them are, they're running out through the bottom. So the melt rate is just incredibly
Hello,
fast.
Metal for breakfast. Good to see you.
So it's depressing to watch some of those programs, but what are you going to do? We're stupid. We're just plain
you see
stupid.
what Dale Bruce says. Thank God he'll be dead. by then.
I'm not going to have to put up
I'm
with
sorry,
it.
Joe
You're right.
Morgan said that.
If I've got another 10 or 15 years in me, God willing, thank you, please. Even then, we'll see more evidence, but, we won't be underwater here. But I do believe that there will be a significant loss of seashore properties right now. And considering, what was it I read the other day? Something like 65 or 70% of the world's population lives within 25 feet of sea level.
Wow.
So, by the time you figure out where they are, maybe it was 50 feet. But anyway, I was like, whoa, that's a lot of people. And they're all within just a hair's breadth of being underwater.
What I want to know is how many of the island nations will be underwater.
A lot of them.
I think so too. Probably most of Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Cuba might go under a lot of water.
Cuba might, but Hawaii is big enough where there's a lot of elevation there. I mean, there's some real high
but
points.
there are a lot of islands there too. I'm not saying all of them will be gone, but a number of them.
Well, the coastlines will definitely be affected, but where we're going to be feeling it is along the Gulf Coast, along the Pacific Coast,
Right.
the Atlantic Coast. I mean, can you imagine New York underwater?
Yes, but only because I've seen all of those doomsday movies.
Yeah, there you go.
Water.
Yeah, Charleston, South Carolina. Yep, that's very true. A lot of stuff on the whole Atlantic coast. Yep.
A lot of Louisiana will, it's already been underwater and will continue to be underwater.
Yep. It'll, New Orleans would probably just disappear.
Probably.
And places like over in Holland where, they're using dikes now, those will be overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
I've been talking about just here in the States, but Europe is the same way. I mean, there's so many places over there that are, the vast majority of the population lives within just a little bit of elevation above the ocean. Yeah, Hawaii is very mountainous.
The Bahamas are.
Yeah, the Bahamas, that's another story. And Bermuda, places like that, that could go. So it'll be a different world by the end of the century. Mark my words.
Thank goodness I won't be here for that.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I won't, because I don't know.
And our kids probably won't either, but our grandkids probably will be.
And they'll look at us and say, look at those, they really screwed us over, didn't they? Yeah, they'll blame it all on the baby boomers.
Probably. That's all right. I got broad
They'll
shoulders.
blame it all on the baby boomers.
They can
The
blame
thing
me.
is,
I've got broad shoulders.
They'll be largely right.
There's a map that shows what the flooding. Joplin is safe. Well, that's good. I know that where we are is safe, but that's because we're 200 plus miles inland.
Excuse me? Senator is suggesting that Guam would sink from the military base? What, the weight of the base? Okay.
That would make us all laugh, I think.
That's kind of like the space
Lisa
lasers.
says it's 64 in El Paso.
It's like the Jewish space lasers.
I bet you're
Some
enjoying that,
people-
aren't you, Lisa?
Some people really need to get their clocks checked, because they're running on the wrong time. Yep.
The global war on humanity continues, so we kind of have our hands full. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, I agree with you. We seem to be trying to kill Mother Earth, and we're doing our damnedest to make it happen. And we're doing a good job. The thing is, the Earth will survive. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard for the Earth to kill us all and just start over again. And who's to say it hasn't done that before? We might be the second or third or fourth iteration of civilization on this planet. If you think about it, if everybody got wiped out and saved,
Celtic Bear says it's tinfoil hat time.
pretty close.
I'm going to make the whole outfit.
That's a good point. Yeah, I need my aluminum foil jacket.
Yes. There's also an
Anti-gun tool.
tool.
Yeah, well.
Huh.
Yes, you're right, Metal. They'll shake us off like fleas, and they'll go into kind of a hibernation, and things will rebuild, and we'll start another food chain from the bottom up, and we'll see who comes out on top this time.
Maybe like those movies around the end of the 60s and early 70s, and the monkeys will be on top.
God knows who might. I mean, it could end up being the insects. You know, I mean, it's there's no telling who might be in charge in 1,000 years on this planet.
I don't think it'll be us. Will be around as,
I think
as a habitable planet.
Well, now that's a good point. Habitable. Luckily, I mean, there are people out there.
Sheep ratio.
Looking for Earth too. I think that's a viable alternative because.
Yeah, we need another place to screw up.
Yeah, well, we can't move fast enough through space right now.
Me either, Lisa.
But as we get a little smarter, that may change. Now, faster than light. I don't know. I don't know unless we can figure out a way to really invent some new physics.
Either that, or we need to make some of those big ships like they have on a lot of the old sci-fi stories, where you have one generation that goes in, 5 or 6 generations down the road, they reach where they're going, and whole different people come out that have never seen land or breathed fresh air or whatever.
They call them generation ships.
Okay, I couldn't think what they were called, but
yeah, I read a very good book one time about a generational exodus that was going to take like 5 generations.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about 500 or 600 years, and they were going to a Earth 2, and then when they got there, there had been a team that went there first, and they found this really nice kind of an Eden place. So they come back or sent word back somehow, that was faster. So everybody on Earth gears up, takes off. They got 5 generation ships, enormous things that are carrying literally millions of people. By the time they get there, the planet has been, virtually totally consumed by volcanoes and earthquakes and everything else. And it's basically just a hellhole.
Oh my.
So, there's like one area that was capable
like Waterworld, right, Joe?
Yeah, there you go. One area that was capable of sustaining human life, and there was not enough space there for the multi-millions of people. So the decision then became, all right, what ship do we, like 10, 15 ships with hundreds of thousands of people on them in suspended animation. Which ship do we wake up to populate this area? Because that's all it's going to support. And of course, then that's when the war started, because there were people awake on each ship who had been running things.
Oh, and the rest of them were in hybrid.
And the rest of them were in suspended animation. But, you're talking about 1 million people on one ship that were all in suspended animation. So, I mean, these ships were the size of big cities. And then the war started over who was going to get woke up.
Right.
It was a pretty good book, actually. I enjoyed it.
Lisa, I thought about building bunkers and hiding, that the problem is earthquakes and groundwater to flood them. And when you build a bunker and get under there, you have to have some way to get the air from outside.
And you still got to get decent air, and you still got to have decent water. And all of those things are going to be very, very precious. Actually, my prediction, the next world war will be over water. Will be over water. Yep. Oh, yeah, we do have Space Force. We're safe. You're right, Celtic. God, I wish I was still in the Air Force. I'd have said, sign me up in Space Force, man. I just want the emblem. I just want the tag.
John says he's glad to see you.
Yeah, John, I am feeling better. Obviously, I'm kind of cranky. I mean, I'm talking way too much, I guess. I'm not giving Kate much of a chance.
He's making up for being gone.
That's it, yeah.
You're going to stand and fight if things happen. Me too, Joe.
Joe, yeah. Although, I'm of two minds on that. Number one, I'm old. I
I'm older.
No, you're not.
Not older than you,
you're
but I'm
yeah,
older.
Okay. I don't really have that much that I can contribute anymore. I'm more of a liability than an asset. 20 years ago, I would have been an asset in some way or another. People in general, the only thing I can bring to the table, hopefully, is a little bit of wisdom and some insight and some thought processes and things of that sort geared toward how we go from here to there. The physical activities involved, cutting down trees to make log cabins or, doing all that crap, I can't do shit. So would it be better for me to survive or not survive? Would I be a liability on the civilization or would I be an asset to their survival? And those are tough questions. You go way, way back to the caveman days. If you couldn't produce, they just turned you away, sent you out on your own. You became tiger food or whatever it was out there, bear food or dire wolf food. Maybe that was what really got you.
Him too, Dale.
But you survive or die, and that's truly the survival of the fittest would come into play in our final days here if it goes naturally. Now, hopefully by that time we would have the rapture and I won't have to worry about any of it anyway. So,
Joe, I really like your attitude. Wisdom's
Yes.
important. Old age and treachery win.
yeah, but you're right. I live at the mercy of modern medicine. If my glasses got broken,
He
I'd,
made a
I'd,
thing
I'd be in bad shape,
And you're right, Sean. He would make a good teacher, and he does have a lot of practical knowledge that he could teach, especially in the field of food prep and storage and that kind of thing. He might not be able to do the canning, but he could tell somebody when the shrimp was spoiled and you shouldn't use it, that kind of thing. Bugging out is not an option.
and
It's not for us either.
I don't even buy. Years ago I had a bug out bag or Bob. I don't even bother anymore. We have a cedar chest in the bedroom that has a small supply of what you could call survival gear. It's just little bits of this and that. It would be of some value to us, but we would have to shelter in place. That's all there is to it. Now.
Most everybody here saying that they would too.
Yep. Yeah, I'd have to shelter in place. Luckily, we got a little space around us now. Thing is, I need a whole lot more weapons. But we also have room here for
Others to
probably.
come here.
I would say we could house 10 people in this house without too much trouble. Don't you? I mean, this room here literally could support a family of 4, just our
Yes.
dining room.
Yeah.
With partitions or walls or whatever. The bird room could easily handle 6.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got, the master areas, and there's an
That would
office
become the
space,
bird room.
an office space off of our bedroom that it was kind of a den or a study. That's another place where 2 or 3 people could live in there very easily. And then we do have 4 bedrooms,
4, including the
And-
master
and-
bedroom.
and 3 full baths. So, theoretically, we have a place that could be defended. And there's a lot of open space around us. So with more weapons and more people, we could defend this place if we had to. And I've thought about who would I invite to come. They need to have certain skills. I want somebody that can work on old cars, prior to electronics, because you go out and you find vehicles that are still analog, don't have any computers in them, because you can count on EMPs being used to bring the world to its knees. So you need good old analog stuff where they run on distributors and carburetors and all that sort of stuff. And you don't have electronic fuel injection and all that crap. Okay, if you have to get the hell out of Dodge, you've got places to go. There you go.
That's my
Yeah,
part,
and
Sean.
and having a Bob that is just kind of nice to have. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Dale, we could if we sheltered in place, we could probably make 4 or 5 months, don't you think, with what we've got on
Oh,
hand?
yes, no question.
Easily, yeah.
My former brother-in-law and his friend who owns the property above us are both very handy,
Handy.
although my former brother-in-law does have COPD, but David, his
But David is a
owner,
carpenter. He used to be a
large machine driver.
a heavy machine operator and mechanic, and they've got some skills that would help us out. And of course, we try to gather in our kids.
Celtic, don't you have problems getting in a VW Bug? I thought you would be too tall. They're not that big. We used to drive them. Hi, Stuart. Good to see you.
Yeah, get home bag. Yeah, that's about right.
Well, David and I go out so seldom anymore since we're both retired. We don't need a get-home bag most of the time.
Yeah.
And if we needed one, it would be because we were stuck in a doctor's office when something happened, and then we would need a get-home bag. But
Well, we had to go to Dr. Friday. It's been a long time since I've been out, and I was
hi,
craving
Michigan Daffodil. Good to see you.
Chinese food. So
Oh.
we went to a local buffet. We'd been there once before, and it was bad. And I will give a place 2, maybe 3 tries before I really pass judgment on it. So I said, well, let's give it, because it was months ago, maybe a year ago, that we went to this place and were very disappointed. So we went there hoping for a good experience. It was just as bad, if not worse. I mean, think about this now. You got a Chinese buffet that serves umpty-11 things. They don't even have a house mustard. They give you the frickin' little pouches of hot mustard. What kind of Chinese restaurant uses pouches for hot mustard?
And they serve brisket that's
Oh.
98% fat and 2% meat, and you have to really dig to find that 2%.
I took one bite of the brisket, and I was hoping it was going to be good. You know,
I told you.
I took one bite, and I had asked for lean. I took one bite, about 2 chews, and literally had to spit it out into a napkin. It was that bad.
Nothing but fat.
So they had one entree there, their General Tso's chicken, that was worth a damn, and their chocolate pudding was good. So
Their iced tea, I thought.
their
was
iced
good.
tea is good too. So we won't be going back to Lynn's ever again. Boy,
Sure, Morgan says you made him hungry for, and so
I
I
tell you,
think
you
yours
know-
sure did too. Yeah,
I mean, I love a good Chinese buffet.
We
you
do.
know,
we love them.
they're
We just
hard to
love
beat.
Chinese food, period.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make everybody hungry for Chinese
What would
food.
be
though.
your favorite boomstick?
Oh, Claude. Okay. Well, how about a Barrett 50 caliber? That would be
Or
my.
a 44 Magnum loaded with 44 Magnum
Well, now
shell?
that would be my pistol. Would be the 44 mag. As a rifle, a couple of AR-15s. Most definitely, like I said, a Barrett 50 caliber for long range work,
A C7 from sure.
and something that shoots. Oh God, what do I want?
AR-15.
Well,
A2.
AK-47s.
I want a good quality crossbow I can cock.
I want. There's a
Favorite
certain
Chinese
shotgun that
food
I'd like to
restaurant
have. What do
close to
they
March, and we'll
Bushmaster.
open again. Yeah,
Bushmaster shotgun.
we had that here too, and it's so sad.
Handguns,
Sounds like a place.
357 Magnum, 44, and probably a couple of 1911 45s. Those are, those things will last forever.
You're planning on spending our $90,000 from the VA on weapons.
I could spend 50 grand real easy.
I'm sure you could.
Well, a good Barrett costs 10 grand right up front. But I could also take out a target 2 miles away, or well, a mile. But with my eyes anymore.
Rustic Tradition also wants a good crossbow.
Now, a 22 long rifle, absolutely, for varmint hunting and things of that sort. You definitely need a small game gun. So yes,
or a good
22.
crossbow. You
Well,
can hunt small game with the crossbow
Yeah, you
quite
can.
easily.
but distance wise,
Rifle, those are wonderful.
I mean,
too.
you can take out a rabbit at 100 yards with a good 22. You can't do that with a crossbow.
That's
So,
true.
But anyway. Now, bolt action rifles, yes, definitely.
My 9mm.
I would like to-
7, but my first handgun was a 1911.
Now,
Wow.
I'm not a big fan of 9mm. They don't have enough stopping power to me. But the 1911 45 to me would be a real good gun to have.
My very first handgun was a Walther PPK.
And yeah, a target bow and a mini pistol crossbow, yeah, those would be good, yeah.
I have a mini pistol crossbow, but I can't cock it. I'm not strong enough.
But there's probably about 10 weapons that I would love to have, ranging from, as we've said, pistols, shotgun, small bore rifle, hunting rifles,
Crossbow won't wake up the neighbors. Exactly.
automatic weapons, semi-automatic. Hopefully you can turn them into automatics. And then some assault weapons. I mean, the AK-47 and AR-15s. That would pretty much, an M5 would be kind of nice too. Just
10mm and
something
an
for
M4.
something for a small area like an M5, something like that. So those, yeah, and a 22 revolver, that'd be great.
Hello, Eric Johnson. Welcome.
Hi, Eric.
Kelsey,
I'm not a black powder fan.
I like the reason he has it
for
though.
shits and giggles. Yeah.
That's funny.
But I would definitely have my own reloading equipment
Mm-hmm.
and
The Taurus
good
G2C
supply
is
of powder
actually
and,
very good 9mm.
the ability to form my own lead and things of that sort.
13
Taurus
with a
G2C.
standard mag. That's not bad at all.
Well, now that's the thing about a 9mm, you do get a good capacity magazine.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a lot of shots. That's a good point. Good point, Joe. Good point.
Yeah, because we're not like the television shows with the cops where they just drop a mag on, slam a new one in, and go again.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, having 13 shots in a magazine is probably a very comforting feeling if you were
Yes.
actually in a gunfight. It's not like you're shooting a revolver and whoever you're shooting at can count to 6 and then you're dead meat.
Right. And this one you got 13, so you can double it. 12.
Although if I had revolvers, I would
Hello,
definitely
Serenity. Good to see you.
I'd have speed loaders for all of them. So yeah.
Thank you for joining us. We're glad to have you. This is an interesting day. We're talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. We started off with gardening, and it's gone to
Yeah, we've decided now is it time to go buy your weapons of mass destruction. Oh, we got 19.
reload. It's very hard to
19
find
folks
primers. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I haven't, I don't know much about that area. So, finding all the supplies to do your own hand loading would probably be tough. And
The only thing I've
Beretta,
ever hand loaded it was shotgun shells.
Dale Beretta makes super nice handguns and good shotguns too.
Joe, I was on a competitive rifle team as a kid.
I
know
was too,
exactly
Joe.
what you're talking about.
I shot 20. I was in the NRA when I was a kid and shot in in Arizona, shot in several state competitions.
Hello, Just Exploring. Welcome. It's good to see you.
It was invaluable. And then I did quite a bit of hunting whenever I was a real little kid down in Texas. I was
11 degrees. Oh, brr.
Spent a lot of-
That's terrible.
spent a lot of time under the care of a retired Texas Border
Beretta.
Patrolman, and I would go out on his hundreds and hundreds of acres of land with a single shot 22 that all it took was 22 shorts, and I'd go out there and I'd plink all kinds of things.
I see everybody greeting Jeep, and I was wondering who Jeep was, and I just realized that's Just Exploring Every Path. I like that shortening of it.
Yeah,
You couldn't carry the Beretta when you were active duty. You had to carry the 1911 all 8 years.
oh, that's terrible. Having to carry a 1911, what a shame. Nice guns, nice guns, and they're almost indestructible. I mean, a 1911, easy to break down, easy to clean, easy to put back together, reliable shells, a magazine that you can load without having without having the Arnold Schwarzenegger arms on you. And some of the clips that they load nowadays, the springs in them are so damn tight that you can't hardly get the bullets in.
Okay. Bring some back for me, Celtic.
Yeah, an old 410 little shotgun, that's kind of nice too. Now, when I was a kid, I had this old beat up 22, and I used to get 22 birdshot to put through that because it was a ruined gun. It wasn't good for anything except going out and shooting sparrows. And so I had a little 22 that I put birdshot through.
You wouldn't score very well on the rifle range if you kept dropping the magazine.
Yeah, you could retrain your thumb after a while, but yeah, you're right. I don't know, maybe one of these days we'll just have a little side conversation about weapons and start making up a list of what we'd all like to have and go from there. Because there's some guns that I think would be a waste of time to have.
That's something you could do on your channel.
True. And there's other guns that I think, if I ever do have the extra money,
for a rifle and 6 for the pistol.
Wow,
that's amazing.
there's several gun shops. Hey, I'm in Texas, man. So there's several gun shops around where I can go and get some good weapons. 15 loaded mags for a rifle and 6 for the pistol. Good idea, Joe.
Celtic,
good idea.
did you bring me the T2?
Yep, good idea. Having enough backup is important. Having all the
Range
extra
instructor
clips
didn't
and all
see it
that
that way.
stuff.
They put 7 entries in my record. It said 1911 followed me for 8 years.
Chris Vector. Serenity, I have never even heard of that one. You got me on that one.
I haven't either.
Chris Vector is a great gun. Is that a custom-made gun or a real high-end? Because I have to admit that's a new one on me. Never heard of it. Of course, I don't pretend to know that much about guns either. So
I don't anymore.
I would have to study up a lot before I went out and. If I had, say, $5,000 to go out
A
and buy
9
guns.
millimeter or a 45.
Oh, okay. That's one of the other things. There are several guns out nowadays that will fire several different calibers. To me, that's not a bad idea. They'll fire everything from a 38 up to a 45, even 44s, by changing the cylinder and your barrel. But the body of the gun remains the same. And
Celtic wants an elephant.
elephant gun, yeah. All you need there is a Barrett 50 caliber. That'll take down any elephant I've ever seen. Caulking gun. Good choice.
I have one of those.
Good choice. Yeah. Somebody with a sensitive caulking gun. I'll get you. I'll caulk you right to the wall, baby.
How about a very large water gun?
Oh, you mean like one of the
super soaker.
Yeah, the super soakers. Yeah. Okay. Judge. Now that's is that the one that Judge? I've heard about that one.
That's all I know. And I don't
Is
know
that
what
a
you told us.
44 Magnum? I've heard of the Judge, but I don't think I've ever seen one. Not up close. I had to go down to that gun shop down there by where Enterprise Car Rental is, right across the way. There's although the guy that runs that gun store, he's in a whole lot of trouble with the state right now.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Shoots 45 long Colt and 410 shotgun.
Huh, okay. Kind of an odd combination for a pistol. Yeah, 410s are good little guns if you just want a lightweight shotgun. I'm afraid I'd have to go with 12 gauge first of all, maybe a 20 gauge for bird hunting,
Range toy, okay.
and a 410 just to play with.
That would be fun, Sean. The water cannons for fire control. Class is good for 5 years. I hope it's
Snake
been out
hunting.
for 5 years because they're ready for your CPL license.
Snake handling. Give me a fucking 40. Oh, sorry. Give me a 45 for that one. Especially around here. I saw a picture the other day on Facebook of a 8-foot long rattlesnake here in Texas. 8 foot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the biggest one I've ever seen, but this one got wrapped up in a hay bale.
Oh my!
And as they were going through baling hay, on the outside they got this 8-foot long rattlesnake all bound up in the wire of the bale.
You run away.
Okay.
That's right.
So that was kind of
I'm
interesting.
told that rattlesnake is quite tasty.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I've never eaten it, but I've been told.
Yeah,
it is.
it's good. It's
Oh,
everybody says it tastes like chicken. No, it doesn't.
speaking of eating strange things, our latest Cajun cook lady that has her food truck down there
Yeah.
now has alligator bites.
Oh, okay. I've had alligator.
I'm going to finally get to taste real alligator.
It depends on how she's made it, because I'll tell you, you just take straight up alligator, it's about as tough as rawhide.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
Michigan, no rattlesnakes. You're right. Yeah.
It's too cold. You got to run.
Rustic Traditions Homestead.
Good
Well,
to see
thanks
you
for
too,
coming
sweetie.
by.
Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for coming.
I've never had gator. I've eaten a lot of other wildlife, but I've never had gator.
10-foot long. There's a museum here in San Antonio. What's the name of that bar? Oh, darn
Keep
it.
talking about it. I'll think Longhorn.
Longhorn Tavern or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
There's a segment in there where they've got literally thousands and thousands of rattlesnake rattles turned into art pieces.
Mhm.
One of the things they've got there is this probably 10-foot long, well, it's not a picture, but I mean, it's a hanging frame with a rattlesnake hide in it that literally is about 10 feet long. And you look at that thing, and I mean, and it's just huge. It's huge. And some of the rattles that they had there, 12, 14, 16 rattles, you just can't find them like that anymore, because they just, they don't live that long anymore. Back then, the bar had a policy. This was way back in the 1870s and 80s. If you brought in rattlesnake rattles, they'd give you a free drink.
Right.
So obviously, a lot of people brought these in.
Copperheads are common here too.
And the guy that owned or ran the bar then would turn these things into works of art. And they've got an entire room of nothing but rattle art, I guess you'd call it. I've got pictures of it, but if I can find them, maybe I'll post a couple. But
the
fascinating thing.
The wife of the man who actually built and started the Longhorn Saloon, which is what the name of it. Hi, CB. Was a very artistic person, and she could not get a lot of artistic supplies. And she kept seeing these rattles and just decided they were beautiful, and she wanted to do something with them. So they'd bring in those rattles, and she'd give them their drink, and she saved them, and then started doing art with them.
And now it's a priceless
They're
collection.
beautiful pieces. They really
It's
are.
a priceless collection, it really is. I need to go back down there. I mean, that place is fairly wheelchair accessible. I'd like to go back down there
All right.
just to see it again.
Sounds good to me.
Well, what time is it? Oh, 11 minutes after 2.
Yeah.
So who's watching the Super Bowl today at, 5 o'clock?
Not me.
I'll be recording it, and probably about 7-ish or so I'll turn it on. Probably watch some of the commercials. The main reason I want to record it is just bypass all the talking heads and the intervals between plays. So I'll watch it for a while. If it turns into a crummy game, I won't. But there's a show on after the Super Bowl.
I agree, CB, the Puppy Bowl.
It's called The Equalizer, if you remember the movies with Denzel Washington. Only this one is Queen Latifah is the Equalizer, and it's a new series that's coming on for the first time after the Super Bowl. So I've got that one set up to record. I might watch that because pressure cooked around
I
the steak.
pressure cook all kinds of things. I love my pressure cooker, and the Instant Pot is just an electric pressure cooker. And I now have the stovetop pressure cooker and 2 Instant Pots.
It's the Chiefs and who else? Who's he? I don't even know who's playing in the Super Bowl.
I agree, Michigan. I miss real football. I never was a NASCAR fan, but I miss football where you didn't have to watch these horrible, horrible commercials. There's a new commercial out. I don't even know what the product is.
Buccaneers, yeah,
because I
Tampa
turn
Bay,
it off
yeah.
every time it comes on. Had some girl supposedly from a dating service who is dating Satan. I don't want nothing to do with that. I'm sorry.
That's a really bad commercial. That is really sends a bad message. Yep.
I don't.
We ought to find out who does
Thinking
that one.
about it gives me the willies.
Send them a scathing letter of, who the hell are you? You know, what are you doing? Who is your CEO?
I don't watch sports much either. I do watch golf. David and I both love golf.
I'll be watching the final round of the only PGA course that I have personally played is the one in Phoenix, where the Waste Management Open is this week. So I can look at that course and vaguely remember playing it because it was a long time ago. I was on I used to go out a couple of times a year to
Excuse me.
visit my mother. What?
Hold on a minute.
What?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
Metal for breakfast. Do read your manual, but from what I understand, you're not supposed to can in the Instapot because the pressure is not.
Yeah, it's not
consistent enough.
It
It goes
doesn't-
up and down, where a good pressure canner goes up and stays there.
Yeah, that's
No.
not a good idea to use that for canning.
Like I said, you can
Yeah.
do it at your own risk, but in
Thanks,
my
Stephen.
classes, I tell people do not try and can in a pressure cooker. So it's up to you.
But
He
anyway,
does look better, doesn't he?
I've
Sorry.
played one PGA course in my whole life, and it's the one there.
Take care,
Actually,
Dale.
physically, it's actually in Scottsdale, not Phoenix. But that course there is gorgeous. It's it's a desert course, obviously. It was really pretty, really pretty. It was a good day. It was a good day. That was a couple of times a year. I used to go out and visit my mother, who was in a long-term care facility down in Florence, Arizona, where I was born. Now, here's the interesting side of the story. When I was born in this little hospital in Florence. Umpteen hundred years later, my mother moves into that facility
Right.
as a long-term resident. She moves into the same room that she was in when I was born.
Talk about going full
Yeah,
circle.
talk about kind of weird little circles.
Thank you,
So-
Metal. I appreciate it. I hesitate to say that, but I'm not really, because there's so many bad stories out there of pressure cooking or pressure canning accidents. And it's
Well,
so
Kate
easy
used to
do it
be-
well.
Kate used to be scared of it, and I don't want to
Yeah,
toot my own horn, but I'm the one that taught her
taught
how
me
to
to
do
use
it
pressure
and to
cooker.
give her the
That is
confidence to actually do it. So, and now she's a pro. So, most definitely a pro.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, well, I'm not going to jump the gun. But anyway, Kate is planning on doing some additional instructional videos.
Yeah.
Some of them are like just basic cooking video, how to cook basic stuff.
This is a pan. This is a pot.
Yeah.
This is a knife. These are how you use them.
The knife cuts things. But but one of them is to go back. One of the first ones she did way back when was on water bath canning and pressure canning, where she explained how to do both. It's time to redo those and bring them up to speed again. So she may be doing some of those in the near future.
Don't be afraid of a Metal. If you read the instructions and you follow the instructions, even the older weighted pressure cookers or pressure canners are safe. You just have to follow the instructions. Those old stories of things blowing up and killing people and all that. Yes, some of them did
Well,
happen.
99% of those were user errors.
Some of
you know?
some of that did happen, but a lot of it was because they were using the really old ones that did not have the built-in safety that you have now.
Or they'd have, old worn out gaskets.
Yes.
The weight or the vent would be clogged. It was things that you could prevent
Exactly.
that they just didn't. Yeah, Home Ec 101. Yeah, that's good. That's a good title.
It's a good title. I'm going to write that down because I probably will call it that. Thank
Do
you.
we have to pay you if we use that, Ruth? Well, now I tell you, the camera that Case got does not use a gasket, and that's one of the things that when we started looking around for them, I said that's a good idea, because right there, you use a little bit of oil around the edge to make a seal, but you don't have a gasket that will crack or wear out, possibly split, because almost always if you have a blowout, I'm not talking explosion, but a blowout where you lose pressure, it's because of a bad gasket.
Sorry,
And
they were
people
making
don't-
noise.
They buy a canner, comes with a gasket, maybe one replacement,
Okay, hold on.
and then they use it for years and don't change it.
Metal, if you're not sure if they have a gasket, take the lid off and look inside the lid. Around the inside of your lid will be the metal, that will be the rubber gasket, and that is what has to
And
be
they're usually
repaired.
round.
Let me go and get one and show you.
They're usually round. They're not flat like gaskets that you normally see, in the rest of the world. But the kind that she uses primarily has no gasket. So when you put it together, it's got, I think, 4 locks all around it. So, and it's all one piece, by the way.
Okay.
So there's your. What's wrong with
This
that?
is the lid to my Instant Pot. All pressure cookers work similarly. It has the pressure release valve right here. And it has a safety gadget right here. When the pressure builds up, there's a little button that pops up. It doesn't pop out, but it raises up. Inside the lid, all lids will have a place for a gasket. In the pressure cooker, it's a small metal ring that is welded to the inside of it. You have a round, in this case, rubber.
Yeah, that's
gasket.
a very weird looking gasket, but that's for the
No,
Instant Pot, right?
all of them are this way now.
I think, okay.
Yeah. It has a flat. See if I can turn it on the side so you can see it better. It has the middle part here, and it has flat like a flange. And on the inside of the gasket, you have a trough. And basically what happens is you set it down in here and you slide it under so that the little metal ring that's part of the lid pops down in the trough. Once that's done, when you put it down and you close it, and these things close, but you set them down and turn them, all of these bumps in the lid slide under lips that are built into the cooker. When you press that down, it compresses this ring, this rubber ring, and that's what allows it to build up the pressure
And
without
that's what locks it
exploding.
in place.
Yes, it locks it in place, and it keeps the pressure
And it
building
makes the
without
seal.
exploding.
It makes a solid seal.
Makes the seal. And I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but you see this little thing right here? That is what you can tell if there's pressure because it pops up like that. It doesn't go up far, it just goes up a little bit.
And then when it goes up, that's when it starts to build pressure, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
when the
yeah.
pressure has built. Tips on cleaning the gaskets. I take mine out every time. They're easy to pull out. I just pop right out like that. I use vinegar and water and use a small toothbrush, and I'll soak them in the vinegar water. Then I'll take them out and use Dawn and the toothbrush, and I clean inside the trough and all around. If that does not
The
get,
vinegar cuts any grease, by the way,
yeah, it's
or
all
oil that's on there. Yeah.
if that doesn't get it to the point where it smells good, and a lot of people say it smells terrible, you put it back on the lid and put plain white vinegar and a little bit of water in the pressure cooker. Turn it back on and let it run for 30 minutes. And to open it up, dump it out and rinse it in plain water, and it will get rid of the smell in most cases.
Metal on the old pressure cookers, what you may find is the gasket inside is round.
Let me.
It's very small, but it's round, and it's a little bit different than other gaskets that you might find. Most definitely different than that one.
All right. This is an old-fashioned
Pressure cooker.
Presto pressure cooker. It comes with a weight that goes on the top, and it has a little bounce up.
Let me see it for a second. Nope, it's not round.
It also comes with a thing you set down inside, so you don't have your whatever you're cooking flat on the bottom. Those do
Okay,
not made to just pop out.
That's a different kind of gasket there. That one stays in, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does have the
Okay.
trough, just like the other one. It does sit in here, and
But it's designed to stay in there all the
if I
time.
can see it, at the end of each one of these little things, there's a small pin that pops up, and that's what holds it in all the way around. So, and here again, you have, this is a very old pressure
Yeah, that thing
cooker,
could be 40 years old.
and it has the lip, and then it pushes out, and it goes in and goes out.
My
On
mother
your-
had one that looked exactly like that.
on the pan itself, and it does get old when it stains like that. When you put the lid on, the part that comes in here slides under these, and then it closes it down, and as the pressure builds, it presses up against it.
Turn the handle toward me. And I'll show you. Whenever you go to put this thing on, what you have to do, get it where it sits down firmly, and you'll feel it. And that's locked.
Now, all
Now
of
that is
these
sealed.
are locked under here, so it's not going to go
If you
anywhere.
put it under pressure right now, you run it to build pressure for about 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Then this button here will pop up. That's when you put this on.
Yeah, this
And
has
until then, this flows open freely for about that first 10 minutes, which is
No.
obviously you make sure, no?
when this comes up, the pressure starts to come out of this
Yeah,
release valve.
Right.
Once it is a steady stream of pressure,
okay.
and I mean real steady stream, then you start your timer.
Oh, okay.
And then after 10 minutes, you put
Yep.
your weight on, and you
And it'll rock.
Yeah. When
Here's
it starts,
your emergency blowouts right over here.
when it starts to rock, it'll rock real fast. You slowly turn the temperature down to the point where it's like more like this. That's when you know that
Olmec
it's reached.
101 just got started, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And we've missed a bunch of our messages.
Oh, let's see. Okay. 20 pounds of taco meat. Wow. Okay, cool. I got to go back up here and look a little more. Oops.
Your Cano is a Presto. This is a Presto as well, but it's a little bit older, and they still use the black plastic on it.
Vinegar to clean gaskets, yes. And Michigan has one with a gauge. That's true. It's very good.
One of mine is a gauge as well.
Dehydrating mushrooms. Be careful with that. Cannery's Presto, all silver. Probably a pretty good one. Presto makes pretty good stuff.
For those who are interested, you can get a Presto pressure canner
Whole 7
at
quarts.
Walmart for around $40 to $45.
Yeah, Michigan, you've got a pretty good one there. If you can put 2 layers in, that's a good sized canner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right, North Shore. We just did Canning 101 right there.
Yep. Thank
And
you.
I'll tell you
Mr.
what, with that, it's almost 2:30. David's going to take a hike.
Okay.
I don't really
Well,
talk
you can
about
take a
myself in
hike.
the third person very much, but I'm going to go away. Kate likes to spend a little time with y'all on her own. That's when she spills her guts, I guess. I don't know.
No, mostly I just get prayer requests.
Talks bad about me. It's pretty easy to do. So I will say goodbye. Thank you very much for coming by. As all of you know, these Sundays are incredibly important to me, to us, to see you here you folks are friends and family, I guess you could say. I mean, if you have an internet family, you guys are it. You guys are it.
Correct.
We care about you. These prayer requests we do not take lightly. We love you all. Thank you very much for coming by. And with that, I'm going to slink away.
Okay.
Okay.
North Shore, if you can stack quarts in your canner, you have a large one. My All-American is large enough to do 2 layers of quarts.
Yeah, it's a big canner.
It is huge, and it weighs 26 pounds empty. And when you get the 26 pounds empty, filled with liquid and jars and food, and then try and lift it around, it becomes really heavy. Pardon me, I'm going to move this around so I can talk to you guys since David's going away. I have the big 925 All-American. I bought it because I like the idea of it being a metal-on-metal seal without the rubber gasket.
Yeah, I like that idea too. I think that's a great innovation.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will tell you, yes, it is metal-on-metal and there's no plastic. But when you put it together and use it, you have to put something in there to take the place of the seal. I've heard a lot of people say all kinds of things. I've heard people say even Vaseline. I use coconut oil on mine. Coconut oil is okay around food, obviously. We can eat it. We can cook with it. We do that. The oil is placed both on the rim of the cooker itself and on the rim of the lid. And when you put it down on it, it has four connectors that come up, and you have to turn to tighten down. That holds the lid on. It also has the lips, like I showed you on the other thing. That holds it out. I don't have any Veg-All. I'm sorry, Celtic, but I do like my coconut oil, and I've got a lot of it because I use it for all kinds of things. But anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. There goes my senior moment for today.
How to seal the gaskets.
Oh, yeah. After I finish doing a load in the canner, I take everything out of it and I wash it. Even if I'm going to do another load, I still wash it out, because sometimes you will get things that will siphon from the jar into your canner, and then you've got stuff all over the inside. I also wash the edges and put new coconut oil on there, because I don't want to take a chance on it getting nasty and gummy. Coconut oil lasts forever. Yeah, it could, but I like to clean mine up. I really do. Some folks recommend oiling a gasket as well. I've never oiled any of my gaskets. I think it would probably cause problems with the pressure building up, because it would not seat well, but that could just be me. Some jar top adapters for your vacuum sealer as well. What kind of vacuum sealer do you have, North? I have I can't think of the name of it now. It's one of the more popular ones that everybody has, and that comes with the little things that fit down over the top of the jars if you want to seal directly in the jars, and I love it. Okay, Metal. I don't know if you have my email or not, but if you do, please feel free to email me with any questions. And if you don't, North does, so you can get it from him. Because I know you guys have each other's emails. Oiling rubber will shorten the life. I didn't know about that it would shorten it, but it always just... Food saver. Thank you, Jeffrey. That's what I have as well. I was always afraid that the oil would get between the rubber and the metal and cause problems with the seal. I had a seal meal. Actually, I've had 3 seal meals, and I've worn them all 3 out. So I went to a food saver, and this food saver has lasted me almost 11 years. So it's doing real well. You're welcome, Metal. Well, guys, I just have a few things on the prayer list. If anyone has anything they would like for me to add, I am finding that putting it in my daily planner has really worked. I've been able to remember everybody's prayer requests and pray for them each day of the week, and it helps me be more focused on the needs of other people, and that's important to me. So if you have a prayer request or if you know of someone who needs to be prayed for, please let me know. I would be happy to. Oh, Susanna, speaking of you being on there, I have Mark on there already. Thank you, North. I did that. Susanna, I went out yesterday to mail out your latest package, and I got to the post office at 2 minutes until 12, and they had already locked the door. So I will be going Monday morning to send it. You're welcome. By the way, Sean, you are also on the list. So. Celtic, you take care. Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it. And by the way, you are also on the list. You're welcome. Ruth's daughter-in-law. Okay, Ruth, she's now on there. Oh my goodness. Yes, we will definitely add her, Michigan. Okay. Her name is Annette. Okay. By the way, for those of you who keep prayer requests, I would like you to put me on your prayer request. I am going to have some oral surgery in a couple of weeks. And while it doesn't scare me because I've had so much of it all my life, it's never fun. So if you would do that, I would appreciate it. Bye, Jeff. It's good to see you. Okay. Michigan. Where did you go? Oh, there we are. Okay. You're here larger than life and twice. Susanna, that's not right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sean. I appreciate that. You're not ugly. Don't say that about yourself. That's not right. I don't let people talk about my friends that way. Thank you, Ruth. I appreciate it. I'm due to have some dental surgery. I don't know how much you all know about my dental situation. I was born with what's called soft teeth. They had no enamel and my teeth would not, they would not absorb enamel. So I had dental problems all of my growing up years. And by the time I was 25, every tooth in my head had at least one root canal because of abscesses. And about 10 years ago, I was blessed to have really good insurance, and they pulled all of my teeth and gave me dentures, and they put a pin in this jaw so that the denture could snap down onto the pin. And it was supposed to solve everything. Well, it took 4 rounds to get that one pin to stay. They were trying to get 2 of them, and only one would take because my bones were having problems due to all of the chemo and radiation that I had had just before that. So Anyway, we finally got this one pin so that I could have the snap-ons. And they told me I would never have another problem with teeth again. Everything was going to be wonderful and all of that. Well, about 4 months ago, the pin became abscessed, just like my teeth used to. And I had to go to the dentist and see about that. He said, yes, I definitely do have an abscess around that pin. And he wanted to take that pin out, put a bone graft in, and put another pin in. And I said, under no circumstances would I have another pin put in there. Take the thing out, and if I have a lower denture that makes noise and acts weird, I'll just deal with it. So that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be removing that pin and doing bone graft. So that's the bone graft is what I'm a little concerned about. Let's see. Michigan says, been there, done that with issues in transplants, a long road. Thank you very much. I first nose picking. Play for Sean. Nose picking. Sean stays on my prayer list. I pray for him a lot. And I'm glad you came to drop in and see us too. Thank you. Hello, Dolly. It's wonderful to see you today too. Welcome, welcome. You got here just as we were getting things to add to my prayer list, and you should know that you are always on my prayer list as well. I've not taken you off since the first time I put you on there. So you are still on the prayer list. And if you have anyone who needs prayer, please let me know, because I have a place in my daily planner that has a spot for a prayer list, and I keep it there and pray for everyone individually by name every time. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. So, well, guys, it's almost 2 full hours. I don't know if y'all are ready for me to shut up and go away or not. Yes. Sean, you are much loved in this community, and we all worry about you and think about you and send you love and good thoughts and all of that. Thank you, Michigan. You have a wonderful day as well. And with that, I think I am going to go ahead and close it down. I have a whole page of things to be sure are on my prayer list. I'm glad you were able to come by too, Dolly. I really appreciate it. So for today, the rest of today and all of this coming week, I wish you good health. I wish you happiness. And I wish God's blessings on all of you. Take care, and hopefully I will see you next week at the same time. Thank you, Eric. The same to you. Goodbye, everyone. God bless.